Batman and Robin number 8, written by Peter Tomasi, art by Patrick Gleason. We left off last issue with Damian using the forbidden forehead poke technique to kill nobody, and this issue is just the fallout and resolution of the entire arc as a whole, and as such, it goes by actually pretty quickly. So, Damian, after being beaten by nobody so senselessly, is basically like pretty much like dying. He has a concussion. He ain't talking straight. He's just like, I'm sorry. I did what I had to do. I'm going to take a nap now. And he just kind of collapses. And Batman's like, okay, we're going to get out of here. And we're going to get you help. And so he makes his way back over to the bat plane, wing, whatever it's called. And he gets up out of the boat before it just sinks into the sea, taking nobody along with it. I'm like 99% sure he is actually dead, but there is still leaving open that tiny little doubt. And as they're flying back, Damian in his groggy state's just like, by the way, I named the dog Titus. And Batman's like, you'll see him in a few minutes, son, just hold on. So they get him back to the cave, and Alfred's already prepped the medical table. And they start fixing him, and Alfred's like, oh, well, because of his training with Talia and all the assassin stuff, he was able to take a beating, but he still has a lot of stuff wrong with him. Also, you took a pretty bad beating yourself when you crashed the plane into the boat, so maybe you should sit down. And he's like, don't worry about me, worry about helping him. And basically, Alfred then goes on, like, are you sure you're all good, considering everything that's happened over the past, like, day or so? And he's like, no, Damian was never going to join nobody. He was just a ruse to get him out and vulnerable. He killed him. And Alfred's like, oh, oops. So then we go to Bruce talking to his parents, their picture on the wall, just basically saying how he failed his son and how he wished he could have been the one to have taken on the burden of killing someone, but no. And then he collapses due to his own injuries. Alfred comes up and checks on him, and he's like, all right, follow the light with my finger. And he tells him how Damian's totally fine, but Bruce definitely has a concussion, and he is needing to stay off of the streets for at least a few nights. So we see Damian is recovering, and Bruce comes in and drops off the recording that he made over those 2 issues, saying like, hey, here's my history with Ducard, here's why I'm worried about you, blah, 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 all that stuff. And he drops it off when Damian's asleep, but as soon as he steps out of the room, Damian wakes up, plugs it in, and starts listening to it. We cut to Bruce is cleaning up his father's den, which is the only room that he's left completely untouched for all of these years. And Damian comes in and visits him and be like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm getting rid of the darkness. This is something that needs to happen in order for us to just move on collectively. And Damian tells him how he listened to the tape and how it was obvious that Bruce wanted to kill Morgan after everything that happened, but he didn't, and he's trying to figure out why. And Bruce basically just gives him the whole spiel of like why he doesn't kill him and whatnot. But this actually spins it in the way that I like it, not in so much of like, oh, if I started killing, I'd be no better than them. It's framed in the sense of you're not going to break the cycle of violence by being more violent. Even if you remove the violent players from the field, you're still a violent player. So you have to try to be better than that. Mind you, he does beat up people a lot, but I at least appreciate the sentiment. And Damian basically just goes on like, I don't want to end up like nobody. I want to be like you, but I don't know if I have the ability to believe in the things you believe in. And Bruce says tough, because that's how it's going to have to be from now on. That's it. And they have a little heart-to-heart moment, and they say how they may not understand each other, but they do still care about each other. They are still a father and son. And as the sun starts rising, they're like, all right, well, Alfred said we need to stay off the streets for a while, so how about we actually do something together, something boring. So they just go outside and they play fetch with Titus for a while, apparently the entire day, because it's already sunset again. And as they throw the ball around, they both look up into the sky, see the bat signal, and run off to go take on whatever they need to, with Alfred just being like, just one night, is that too much to ask? I like it. I think it's a fast wrap up to everything, but in terms of the story itself, I honestly feel like the past 3 issues have been kind of spinning their wheels a little bit. I think that it would have been like, okay, in order for this comic to end on a cliffhanger last issue, it needed to end with him killing nobody. And I get that. But I kind of wish there was like an issue of them recovering and like trying to find the words to say, and then this issue comes in and they actually wrap up everything. Or something like that. It just feels like this went by really quick of like, yeah, no, like we're back to good and everything's fine, and I hope that I liked it. Don't get me wrong, I liked it, but it did feel like really just like boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're done. So of course, this isn't the end of the like run. There's going to be more stories told by Tomasi and Gleason, but for this particular one, it just felt like for 3 issues of okay, Robin and Nobody are a team now, maybe I guess, and then they're gonna beat each other up and blah blah blah. This just felt really fast compared to that. So overall, I did enjoy it. I would give it probably a 7. It's a solid writing. It's a solid book all around. I do have issues with it. I think that the art has improved throughout. There's still the occasional strange face every once in a while, but for the most part, I really feel like my problem of like too heavy of inks in the beginning or something that was going on with the faces has been remedied. So yeah, art has definitely improved over the course of the book. And writing-wise, it's just a solid father-son story. So yeah, 7 for this, and we'll see what happens in the next arc.